Hey guys, it's Katie here with Life Mundane. Welcome back to my channel. Today I am so excited about what I got in the mail and what I'm going to get to share with you guys today that I actually rearranged my entire filming schedule for August. And instead of releasing the video I was going to release, I decided to do this one. So I hope you guys can share in my excitement. But today in the mail, I got the new Organized Homeschool Planner by Not Consumed Ministries. It is so good, guys, and I can't wait to jump in and show you guys. Obviously, I have not used it yet since I just got it in the mail, but the plan today is to tell you I've done a lot of research about it, I've watched a lot of videos about it, and have done a thorough flip through of it. And so today I'm going to give you guys a flip through of it and share just a few of my thoughts about why I think you may or may not want to look into investing into this awesome tool. So let's get started. Before I jump into my walkthrough of this neat planner, I wanted to share a few thoughts about this. This planner is not going to be the planner that you're expecting. It is very much outside of the box. It is very different than any other planner that I have seen out there. And trust me, I have homeschooled for several years. I was homeschooled myself. I've seen a lot of different planners. And this one is different, but in a good way. And I think it helps you spend more time focusing on planning and putting more effort in thinking through things that honestly, in the long run, will pay off more than a lot of the detail-oriented stuff, and you'll kind of see that as we go through the video. So here is the planner. It is beautifully spiral-bound with a fun school cover on the front that I think you guys will like. I love the fact that there's scripture all throughout the planner. It's a little introduction for you as you get started. Honestly, I would think about this planner more like a workbook than like your traditional planners if we were going to try and put it in a little bit of a box here. It has steps on what you need to do to get started. And obviously you can use these pages however you see fit, but I love the fact that they give you some guidance and direction on what to do. Love this page. It says, "This will be our family's best homeschool year ever." And the idea is that you wait till the first day of school and you and all your children sign this page and you sit down and pray over the day and dedicate that year to the Lord. Fun, neat first day of school tradition. Then we've got fun sticker pages here, always fun, and those can be used anywhere you want. Another verse, and we get into the vision tab. So if you can see here, there are several different tabs here, and the first 4 sections of this are very much are marked and are very much more that workbook style that I was talking about. You have your vision, your planning, your space, and your students. Then you have these other markers here that are not marked by month, but these are going to be more of your monthly planners. And I love the fact that they're not divided by month because it means that no matter when you begin or end your school year, or if you school all year round, there are 12, and you can begin and end wherever you want. So let's jump into looking into what's in the vision section. So in the vision section, again, it's going to give you a few instructions of what you can do. It asks you, why does your family homeschool? I've talked about this before in other videos, and I will link that for you guys, but I think it's so important to talk about why do you homeschool. It's important to talk through things about what are important things to your family, within the family, within your church, within your community life, and kind of setting those important things aside before you begin planning. It then has you do a life goals worksheet, and so you're going to fill this out per kid. Did I mention that this planner is good for up to 8 children, which means it's large family friendly, which is awesome. And if you don't have that many kids, you can either rip out the extras, or you've got extras in case you mess up a page and you want to rewrite it prettier. But basically, you're going to put the child's name. You're going to write your goals for them spiritually, their goals socially and emotionally, their goals physically, and their goals academically. And these are goals that you have for them. And I love, again, that it has so many pages for students, so I can use it with my larger family. Then it encourages you to look up verses, and I love this. It encourages you to look up verses as to why do we teach these core subjects? Why do we teach English and math and science and social studies and fine arts? And then it leaves spaces for maybe other subjects that you teach. This is going to be super encouraging, and she even gives you little hints here of verses that she found if you get stuck or you're not used to this kind of thing. But I would encourage you to look for verses yourself, and I think it will be helpful to really think through what's the long-term thing? Like, so for instance, with English, I want my kids to learn to read God's Word. they cannot read and write and communicate God's word and what God has to say to them unless they have studied English. And so having that more eternal perspective and that kind of end game in mind is such an awesome thing to keep you motivated throughout the year. Then there's a great building your homeschool, and it's just talking about building your priorities. There's a whole page here of how you can use this. So I'm not going to go into great detail here, but it's a great way to just sort of set up your priorities. Then you have a place where you can write your family's vision statement. Planning pages over here. Now we're to the next section. The planning pages, I love this. I've never done this before, but it encourages you to write your state requirements, to actually go to the HSLDA website and to write out your requirements. Are you required to do so many hours? Do you need to keep attendance? Do you need to keep this? So this is really, really interesting to me because I have been homeschooling for several years. I know the homeschool laws and where we live, but I have not recently gone to the laws. And one thing that she encourages you to do is those laws do change, and they change. They can change frequently depending on what state you're in. So it's always wise to just look at it for yourself. Don't take word of mouth, don't take hearsay, and write down what the laws actually are for your state. And then you're sure you're following them, you know what you need to do, and you won't be caught off guard were there to be any problems. So I love that she has you do that. Evaluating last year, what went well, what didn't go well, things that you can learn from last year, which I really think is helpful if you're not already doing that, to do that every year. I've not had this fun worksheet before, but I have done that each year and have learned so many great things from looking back at our past places. It also encourages for each child, again, it has a spot, and it encourages you to look at where was your child last year, emotionally, spiritually, and academically, and where are they this year? And this will just kind of help you track the progress. And now, I didn't do this because I didn't have this awesome planner. I didn't do this last year, so I'm going to have to kind of guess / remember what I can about how they've grown over the years, but I can for sure, even if I can't fill out this last year, I can fill out this year so that the following year I can compare notes. Then we talk about the needs. So you're going to list your child again, and you're going to talk about their strengths and their weaknesses, their specific educational needs. So I have children who definitely need visual prompts. They're going to need, or ones who need lots and lots of repetition. So I can put notes like that in here. And again, these things might seem silly to some people. I know for me, this is like gold. And I know for some, this may not be your cup of tea to do all of this extra quote unquote busy work. But I really think these things can be helpful when it comes to preparing you to teach. Okay, then it explains, I love for if you're a new homeschooler or if you're new to this concept, it explains several of the homeschooling methods, the traditional, the classic, the unit studies, Charlotte Mason, and eclectic. And then it kind of has you list out your preferences as a mother, looking at what are some things that you should be teaching, kind of giving a long-term plan. What are you going to be teaching in the early elementary years, the late elementary years, middle school, high school? Now, these are like, she has listed of example subjects, like simple things like learning to read, practice number recognition and counting, things like that, okay? So you're not going to be writing down every single thing you're going to teach your child over the 18 years, but it is kind of nice to have a general scope and sequence. So I've never done that before, and I'm excited to jump into that. Our family's method, talking about what specific things make this method a good thing. So maybe you're eclectic, or maybe you're a Charlotte Mason homeschooler, maybe, you're something else, an unschooler or something. You would write down why that works for you guys this year. Making an annual plan. How many days are you going to teach? Like for us, we do 4 days a week, 5 days of school, but 4 days of teaching a week. What days of the week will you teach? Some people teach over the weekends because of work schedules, and then they have some weekdays off. Will you count semesters or quarters? What day will you start? What day will you end? Things like that will just help you kind of gather that information together. Then you have your annual plan / attendance record, and it encourages you to mark off the days that you're planning to do. Vacation days, you could do this ahead of time and plan it, or you could do it as you go, I guess, if you wanted to. It encourages you to go through your curriculum plan. I am really excited about this, okay, because this is something that I really felt like I didn't do well last year, but it suggests you write, and it has per child, or if you're doing everything as a group with your kids, you can just do it once, but you write out the curriculum that you're going to be using that year, and then you're going to write down about approximately how much time of learning for this curriculum. how many days you have to complete it, and what your plan is. So why I think this is important, you could do this a couple of different ways. So I could do all about reading. It takes about 20 minutes a day. I don't usually go over that for many, many different reasons, but 20 minutes a day. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to do, it takes 20 minutes a day. I have 186 days to complete it. And so I'm going to write up a plan for this. So I don't know, I haven't done the math or looked at it quite yet because I haven't put it all into my planner yet. But basically it would look something like, okay, so in order to complete this subject within 186 days, I'm going to need to do at least 3 lessons a week. So not only can you list the time as far as like physical time, like 20 minutes a day or something like that, you're also going to write how often they're going to do this. So 2 times a week or every day, things like that. So you really can make this flexible to work for you. Now you have your extra worksheets, and there's instructions for that. I'm not going to go into all of that right now. We've got our daily plan. These ask you pertinent questions to really help you discover what your daily plan is and what's going to be best for you. I think this is super helpful. I jumped in when I first started homeschooling, trying to make a plan like this and just taking a grid and the days of the week and trying to plug things in without having evaluated all the things like how often do I need to do the curriculum? How many lessons do I need to be doing a week? Things like that. And it all was chaos. Whatever I set for the beginning of the year always fell apart within a week or two. So I think doing all this prep work, it might seem like busy work, but again, it's going to help you kind of have things fall in place together. While this page might be overwhelming to plug in a rough schedule for your kids, after you've done this work, it should be pretty simple. You're going to go into creating a daily plan, step 2. So again, it's got more detail on how you can create a daily plan for your child and what they need to do each day. Then it encourages you to block your day out. Just list a few things. What do you do in morning time? During the morning time, you might do breakfast, chores, maybe some personal devotion time. Then the school, how does the school day start? Okay, we're going to start with our YouTube playlist, our morning playlist, and then we're going to do our morning basket, and then math, language, writing, spelling, that kind of thing. And then maybe lunch, and then after lunch, science, history, quiet time, playtime, things like that, and then after dinner routine. But kind of consider your day in chunks so that if you get off schedule, that's okay. It's not a timed thing because timed things are not really my way of doing things, but it kind of gives you a general routine to follow. And then that brings us to the space. This is such a unique aspect that I've never seen in planning planners that I've looked at before, but it's talking about your homeschool space. Now your homeschool space might be a separate homeschool room. It might be just simply your dining room or your living room or whatever. You might live in an apartment. This is a great way to evaluate the space you have, not the space you want to have, and to really think about the things that you need. So things you love about this space. Where do you learn in this space? Is there a place to write? Things that don't seem to be working. Where do you store things? Things like that. So you're just going to write down a general, just an inventory basically of what you already have. Then you're going to look at a homeschool room tour. What do you like? Do you like the traditional setup of a school with desk spacing and things like that? Or what do you dislike about that? What are the challenges? What are aspects that we might use? What about family life, like doing it in the living room or doing it in the kitchen? So you're just going to evaluate kind of your likes and dislikes. It really helps walk you through it. I really think I've been homeschooling for years and I'm really excited about this, but I really think it could be very helpful for someone who's brand new and has a ton of questions about how to get started. This really is going to just walk you through all of those steps. It's going to help you design your own learning space, what furniture you need, what do you already have, what do you need to get. You're going to list out all your learning materials. Then the best part is you're going to take the learning materials that you have and you're going to divide it into, do I use this every day? Do I use this only occasionally, sometimes, things like that? And it's going to help you make a plan to make the things that you use every day more accessible to you and make the things that you only use sometimes or occasionally don't have to be quite as accessible. So maybe they can be in a closet or in the garage, in a storage space, something like that. It also has some great tips for creating your space. And I just think that's such a unique aspect. Then we're going to get into our student section. I love the fact that at the beginning of the student section, she gives a chart for how independent your learners are. Basically, the difference between a beginning learner, they're pretty much not independent on anything. A stage 1 where they can do a few things but not much on their own, about 15 minutes of independent time. A stage 2 where they can do quite a bit more independently, and then the transition and the independent stage. And so you can evaluate where your kid is, and you'll use that as you go into here. You're going to list what your child's name is and which stage are they in, and some notes about how you can do to keep encouraging them to grow in independence, and what kind of adjustments you need to make for maybe their lack of independence. You're going to go through the personal stuff worksheets. You're going to talk through different activities they have outside the home. You're going to look at schedule and assignments. So with this one, with the schedule and assignments, you're going to think through for each individual child, how can I keep them stay on track? What about when they have bad days and they just don't want to do school? I can list out ideas here about what I want to do about that. You can also list out maybe adjustments that you need to make for that child, or things like maybe they need a checklist to keep them on track for the week, or daily checklists where maybe it's a little bit more micromanaged. Organizing the records, it gives you ideas on how to organize and set up your own homeschool portfolio. Yay! You guys know I am really passionate about homeschool portfolios. I've done a video on that. And then you're going to get into your planning pages. Now, you will notice so far there has been no calendars, no months at a glance, no week at a glance. That is not the kind of schedule this is. If that's what you're looking for, then there's another way you can do this. So right here, you're going to start your first month of school. Again, it's not labeled. You could write in the month that you want, but that way, no matter what your school schedule is, this is going to fit your school schedule. And here, you're going to write, oh, I skipped a page. Here, you're going to do a word cloud. So you're going to write the month. So we're starting in September, so I'll write September here, and I can use this page to just brainstorm things I need about September. And what I love about this is that I can sit here and go, okay, September, first day of school reminders, jot down what we're doing for our first day of school gift for our kids. Jot down things about what we want to do to talk about Labor Day. Things I just want to remember in general about the month, or books I want to check out from the library, things like that. And then I can do it for future months. So I know right now that I want to make sure that this year we do a special unit study on Thanksgiving. We've done that in the past at points, but we didn't do it last year, so I want to make sure we get it done this year. So I can flip over to November and go ahead and jot that down in the word cloud, and it kind of just, it's brain dumping, but organized brain dumping, and I love that I can now find my brain dumping. If you're not familiar with that concept, it's basically the idea of writing down everything that's in your brain to kind of relieve yourself of keeping all that information in your head, but it's even better when you can do it in an organized way. Then you're going to talk about mom's goals for herself for the month, and then we're going to talk about this month's goals for your kids and writing those out. We're going to talk verses to focus on this month, whether that's to memorize or just for mom to focus on for her heart, prayer needs and praises and thanksgivings. I love the fact that it's having you journal that. Look at this month. So what's something you're grateful for about this month of school? What worked well? What did God reveal to me this month? Something that I'm covering in prayer this month. What I might change this month. Sometimes something I need to say no to. Maybe something didn't work so well. And it goes on. So I love the fact that it's just a quick evaluation. If you guys watched my last video on what I learned from last year, I realized that I needed to have more evaluation time in my school year. So we're doing 5 weeks on, 1 light week, and during that light week, I'm just going to be evaluating over the last few weeks. So I'm excited to use this page for that. This month's memories, so you could write down fun, cute quotes that your kids made, or maybe write down a fun field trip that you went on, stories, things like that. And that's all there is for the month. There's blank pages, and it says here that there's also pages that you can get from their website that you can, add on here if you want to do more. But that's all the pages in the book. The rest of these are just monthly pages. So you might be asking yourself, if there's no monthly planning pages, there's nowhere to write what lesson I'm doing when, how is this a homeschool planner? This is the fun part. This is what I love about this. So I've already planned in here how long each curriculum is going to take. I've already planned that I need to do 3 lessons of language a week, or I need to do 4 lessons of grammar a week, things like that. that is already planned. I already did that in my planner. I've already looked through goals that we want to accomplish. In those brainstorming pages at the beginning of each month, I've maybe already written down the books that we're going to be covering or the hymn that we're going to be covering in our hymn study. And so I've already done a lot of that planning work here. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to have student planners. You can go get these at Walmart. I am planning on using one, and I will link it below. It's a free website download that you can get, but it has an awesome student lesson planner that I'm just printing out. You can put it in a binder or get it bound. Just use one page at a time, however you want to do it. But I'm going to have my kids write down. So I'm going to write down the more detailed plan in my children's planner. So they're going to have math, and I'm going to say, do lesson 53 here, lesson 54 here, lesson 55 here. And those I'm just gonna do each week. So I don't have to worry about writing out a whole bunch of lesson plans and having to rework it all when it doesn't work, because I'm just planning 1 week at a time. I don't have to worry about spending a whole lot of time planning each week because I've already divided out how much work I have to do each week to accomplish the lessons in the time given. So like I said, it's a very different approach. It might not be for you, and I completely understand that. I do want to say that Kim, the author of it, she has some great YouTube videos, some great training on how you can use this more extensively, giving lots of examples if you're kind of stuck. But I really do think it can be helpful for those who really just need help organizing their thoughts. And if you feel overwhelmed and just frustrated by not knowing what's next, this can be a great step for planning. Then my kids will have their own student planners. They'll do their assignments and check those off. And there's really no need to have an extensive plan. It just ends up being kind of a waste of my time, because a lot of times we don't end up doing the plan the way that I planned it, and I spend all this time planning, a semester or the whole year or whatever, and I don't ever really get to it. So we're gonna try it out, guys. I promise to do an update video here in a few months after I've had a chance to use this extensively. I will let you know what pages did I use, what pages did I not use, do I find it helpful, do I feel like it's enough. If you guys have used this planner, let me know in the comments. I would love to hear what your guys' thoughts are on it. And as always, I would love for you to subscribe to my channel. I post videos every Wednesday and Saturday on making the most of the little moments in homeschooling, home management, parenting, and everything in between. And I hope you guys have a great day, and we'll tune in this week. I am hoping to have my homeschool room tour video up either on Saturday or Wednesday of next week at the latest. I'm just tying up a few loose ends, and it's always taking longer, but I'm excited to have this planner because it will hopefully help me work through those last minute details that I'm trying to figure out. So stay tuned, and can't wait to talk to you guys again. Bye.